All right. We are live and in effect. Live and in effect again. This is the second time I'm coming to you guys live. I told you that's my goal. That's my desire, is to really be able to just share some of the principles, some of the things that I've been learning that, the Lord has been blessing me to understand. So I definitely want to invite everybody who was watching and you didn't watch this live, you may be watching the replay. Definitely stay tuned, check it out, right? Because I think what we're going to talk about today, what we're going to learn today, I think will be a blessing to you as it is a blessing to me as well. But I'm just going to wait for a second, allow, some of the live feed to get out through Facebook and YouTube. We're actually live streaming on Facebook and YouTube. I'm actually going to put my Facebook up, just my personal Facebook page up, and also my YouTube, so you guys will be able to find me and follow me on there, and be able to be there when I'm going live. You guys can click that bell and subscribe to my channel. This is my personal channel that I'm going live from, so this is not my anything else. So this is my actual personal channel. But we're going to talk about Jesus working, y'all. This is what we're going to talk about today. Jesus. Did you know that Jesus worked? I don't know if you guys out there know, but Jesus actually worked. Let me know if you're watching. If you're watching live, let me know that you're watching. Leave a comment. I see we got some people joining in now, man. We're going to have a good discussion today, and I hope you will be able to, give me some feedback, what you guys' thoughts are, what you're thinking on some of the information that I'm sharing, on some of the commentary I'm giving. But if you're out there, man, let me know you're watching. Just leave a comment. Just say, hey, Lionel, I see you. Let me know you're there, because my first time streaming through this channel, through this platform, and I'm streaming to two places at one time, Facebook and YouTube. I'm streaming through StreamYard, so I'm trying to really make sure that everybody can see me. I see. What's up, Tilla? I see you out there. It's been a long time since that video we did a couple years ago at GYC, but you definitely have been killing it. If you guys don't know some of the work that my boy Tilla is doing, you definitely gotta go check him out on YouTube. School for Prophets. Some powerful content over there. Powerful documentaries, powerful studies. So definitely check him out over there, School for Prophets on YouTube. So I see that's up. Okay, good. Just want to make sure that everything is good and I understand how this platform works. But anyway, we're going to talk about Jesus working. We're going to talk about Jesus working. All right. My wife is looking at me in the background like, oh man, you're getting too excited. Like you loud over here. But Jesus worked, y'all. I don't know if y'all know that Jesus worked, but Jesus put in work. And so for all of us out here who are looking to use our gifts, our talents for God's glory, for God's honor, it is no better person for us to look at, to model after, than Jesus Christ. Because Jesus is a great example, okay? He's a great example. And so how many of y'all out there are, have some gift, some talent? Some of you have maybe a business idea. Some of you may already be entrepreneurs. Let me know where you guys at right now. Are you entrepreneurial in your workload? Are you maybe you say I have a W-2, 9-to-5 job, but I have a gift, I have a talent that I want to be able to use more fully, right? To be able to share my gift with the world, and also to be able to use my gift for God's glory. Where you guys at, man? Anybody out there have a business that they have right now that they've started, or something that you're doing for you and also for God's glory? Anybody out there? Again, I'm trying to, be patient with me as I'm learning how these platforms works, and how to be able to follow the commentary back and forth between the channels. So, okay. So what I want to say though is, a lot of us have something that we're seeking to do. And let me tell you, everybody got a gift. Everybody got a gift. We're not going to dwell on that right now. I got a future episode, a future live. We're going to talk about your gift that God has given you. But we're not talking about that today. But everybody got a gift. All right. Everybody has been given abilities by Jesus Christ. Right? They've been given abilities. The Holy Spirit has something that everybody can do in order to not just be a blessing for you and your family, right? Because guess what? If you don't work, you don't eat. But also to be a blessing for the world, and also a blessing to share the glory of God through. You see what I'm saying? But what I want to do right now, right? I want us to look at something through Jesus's eyes, through his life, and to use it to peer into our entrepreneurial endeavors, into how it is we go about connecting with what God is calling for us to do, and to just use it as a mark, as a test, right? There's no greater example than Jesus himself. So we want to use Jesus as we come in first for this first time that we're going to really dig into some of these principles that I believe the Lord has been sharing me. I want to share with you guys, right? There's no better place to start in the scriptures than to start with Jesus Christ, right? So I want to look at Luke chapter 2. Luke chapter 2. This is young Jesus. Young Jesus, okay, right? So I know a lot of y'all know about old Jesus. And not old Jesus like Jesus is old, right? But older Jesus. Y'all know about 30 plus Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know about Jesus 30 plus, right? Who out there knows about Jesus be pre-30? You know what I'm saying? What about Jesus pre-30? What y'all know about Jesus pre-30, okay? Because Jesus pre-30 got some lessons for us out here, especially us who are seeking, right, to do something for God's glory, for God's honor, right? For some of us who are out here trying to grow our business, grow our ministries, right? Grow our impact. Pre-30 Jesus got something to teach us today, okay? So I want to look here at Luke chapter 2. I don't know if you got your word with you, right? Let me see, matter of fact, if I can share my screen here so you guys can see what I'm looking at, right? So give me a second. Let me see if I can pull up Luke chapter 2, and I want to share my screen with you so you guys can actually see what I'm reading in the scripture, so we can trek together here. Now, I want you guys to have some patience with me because this is my first time doing this stuff, okay? All right. So, all right. So Luke chapter, I don't know what you guys see right now. You know what? Let me not do that because I don't even know what I'm doing. All right. I don't even know how to do it properly. So let's just stick with it. I'm gonna just read it to you guys. Luke chapter 2, we start in verse 41, right? This is the story of Jesus when he now had turned 12 years old. He was 12 years old. And when you're 12, in a Jewish society back in those days, when you're 12 years old, it's time for you to become, you're no longer a child. You moved on to, you're now a youth, right? You got some responsibilities. It's time for you to be putting your head to use, right? It's time for you to put your hands to the plow, okay? And so you got a different level of responsibilities at 12 years old as a young Jewish boy, okay? And so Jesus is now 12 years old. And because he's 12, he's now required to go and to participate in all the feasts, all the festivities that the Jews had during that time. If you're not familiar, right, there are 7 different specific feasts. And if you're not familiar with that, man, you want to get familiar because those feasts are very important when we're talking about the plan of salvation, right? And so there's one feast, right, that's called the Passover. I know some of you guys are familiar with this, right? There's a feast that's called the Passover feast. Now, Jesus at 12 years old is now going to be and start participating in the feast of Passover, right? He's going to be connected with the others who are older, who all are going to Jerusalem 1 out of 3 times a year, right, for these specific feasts to participate in these festivities. So we're looking at Luke chapter 2, verse 41. It says, now his parents went to Jerusalem every year at the Feast of Passover. Not just Jesus' parents, but all these other parents went up too, right? Because this is something that the Jews did, right? To worship. It says, verse 42, and when he was 12 years old, they went up to Jerusalem after the custom of the feast, right? And when they had fulfilled the days, as they returned, the child Jesus tarried behind in Jerusalem, and Joseph and his mother knew not of it. So Joseph and Mary, some of y'all are thinking and considering like that one time where y'all lost y'all nephew or y'all child, right? When y'all went to that theme park, maybe something like that, right? But think about the anxiety that they were going to start feeling when they realized that Jesus wasn't with them, right? Now, let's keep trekking, because I want us to get to a point so we can see this lesson that I want us to think about, right, and consider when we're talking about our entrepreneurial journeys, right, and endeavors. It says, but they, supposing him to have been in the company, went a day's journey, and they sought him among their kinsfolk and acquaintance. And when they found him not, they turned back again to Jerusalem, seeking him. So think about it. They're in a caravan leaving Jerusalem, right? Jesus is still in Jerusalem. They don't know where he is, right? But look, and it came to pass that after 3 days, they found him in the temple, sitting in the midst of the doctors, both hearing them and asking them questions. He's sitting among the leaders, right? The priests, right? The Pharisees, the Sadducees, those who the scribes, right? All those who knew and were learners in the law, right? In the practices and the customs and the feasts, right? Of the Jewish people. He was sitting in the midst of them learning, right? Then it says, verse 47, and all them that heard him were astonished at his understanding and answers. And when they saw him, they were amazed. Now look at what it says after this. And his mother said unto him, son, why have you thus dealt with us? Because your father and I have sought for you sorrowing. Now, if we go back to verse 43, we realize now we're in Luke chapter 2. We're in Luke chapter 2, verse 41 to 52 for those who are trying to figure out. Maybe just join the live, right? Again, this is Tentmakers 101. Right, we're talking about biblical entrepreneurship, right? But if you looking and you see what's going on right now, Mary is now approaching Jesus as she sees him in the midst of the doctors, right? Teaching them, right? They're not understanding his understanding and his answers. But she now comes and approaches Jesus, child Jesus, it says, and says, look, me and your father have been searching for you. We've been seeking for you. But now, verse 43 lets us know who she's talking about. Mary, when she's talking about me and your father are searching for you, who is she talking about? Is Mary talking about the Lord? Who's Mary considering? Who's she talking about when she's saying me and your father have been searching for you? Me and your father have been searching for you. Who is she talking about? Anybody out there, right? Anybody have an answer? Verse 43 tells us she's talking about Joseph, right? She's talking about Joseph. She's talking about that earthly father, right? That's who she's considering. That's who she's talking about right now. But now look at Jesus' answer. He says in verse 49, and he said unto them, how is it that ye sought me? Knew you not that I must be about my father's business? Jesus said, look, did you not know that I must be about my father's business? Now, I want to ask you guys, who is Jesus talking about? Who is Jesus talking about right now? My wife says God the Father, right? Y'all can't hear in the background, but she said he's talking about God the Father. Jesus is talking about his Father, the Father which art in heaven, right? But Mary is talking about Joseph. Now, if I say, okay, what was the Father's, because Jesus says, I'm going to be about Did you not know I'm gonna be about my Father's business? What is the Father's business that Jesus is talking about? Let me see if I can ascertain some comments out there. Again, it's my first time doing this, so I'm trying to figure out how to work this platform. But when Jesus says, I'm gonna be about my Father's business, who is the Father that Jesus is talking about and that Jesus is considering? You already know it's the Father, right? And the business that he's to be about, right, is the work of salvation, right? That's his Father's business. That's his Father's business that he's given him, right, to do and to accomplish. He has given him the work of reconciliation, the work of salvation, right? Now, I want you to think of and look at this. If we look at John chapter 9, Jesus says in verse 4, I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day, the night cometh when no man can work. This work was the work that his Father gave him to do, right? During these 3 days or 3 years, right? Again, if we're talking prophetic history, right? It's the work of salvation. We understand, we know this is the work of salvation. But now I'm gonna ask another question. This is the Father's work. This is God the Father's work. What was Joseph's work? What was Joseph's work? Because when Mary's coming saying, me and your father sought for you, she's not saying me and God the Father was seeking for you. That's not what she's talking about. She's definitely not talking about God the Father. Okay, that's not what she's talking about. Okay, she's not talking about God the Father. She's talking about Joseph. And so my question to you guys out there, you guys may be watching the replay, right? You guys may be thinking, oh, Joseph he was working with wood, right? He was a carpenter, right? So when we talking about Joseph's business, Joseph was a carpenter, right? God the Father sent Jesus to do what? His work that he had given him, the business that he had sent him into the world to do, was a work of salvation. Now, I want us to look at Luke chapter 2 and verse 50 because I want us to see where we are today. I have to look at this and say, Lionel, you have to look at yourself. You have to look at your business. You have to look at your entrepreneurial pursuits through this lens, right? Luke chapter 2 verse 50 says, and they understood not the saying which he spake unto them, and he went down with them. Who's the them? Joseph and Mary. That's what he's talking about. He didn't go down with them, Mary and God. The Father was always with him. You understand what I'm saying, right? But he went down with Joseph and Mary and came to Nazareth and was, somebody see that next word it says? He was subject unto them, but his mother kept all these things in her heart. Then verse 52 says, and Jesus increased in wisdom and stature and in favor with God and man. He increased in wisdom, stature, and favor with God and man. What am I trying to say, right? What am I using this to say? And what do I want you guys to think about and to consider, right? Jesus, at the age of 12, knew what his life mission was. He knew what his God-given purpose was. He knew where he was supposed to end up. He knew and had a vision of what it is his life was supposed to do and bring an impact he's supposed to have. He understood it all at that moment, right? At this time, at 12 years old, as Jesus was in Jerusalem, he understood all of those things. But yet, what did he do? Verse 51 says, he went with them, Mary, Joseph, and was subject to them. And so what did Jesus do? Because he was subject to them. You know what Jesus did? Jesus worked for 18 years. But I want you to understand, Jesus worked for 18 years. It's not even like he worked for 18 years and he didn't yet know what it is that God had for him to do in life. It's not like he still didn't know what his purpose was. It's not like he understand. I still don't understand what my niche is, right? I still don't understand what the direction of my business or ministry is supposed to go in. I still don't understand what my gift and talent is. That's not even it yet, right? Like Jesus knew, he understood, but yet he still subjected himself to his mother and to his father. And he was a carpenter working with Joseph as a carpenter till he passed, of course, right? But he worked for 18 years until it was ready for him to then, by God's leading, right, go on to his next journey. Can't think about that, right? I mean, if we're going to be honest, right, if a lot of us are honest, we wouldn't do that today. And a lot of us don't even yet know what our niche is. We don't know what line of business we want to go and get. We don't have a full grasp on the purpose and on the mission, on the lifelong goal yet, right? And we already trying to skip steps. We're already trying to get out of where we are right now, right, in order to go to something else. You know what I'm saying? We're not willing yet to be like Jesus. And guess what? Get up every single day. You know what's so amazing to me when I was thinking about this, right? Because I had to consider like superheroes, right? And I'm thinking like, when you think about Spider-Man or something, and he got bit by this spider and realized he can climb walls and shoot stuff with webs. You know, every superhero will then start, you will see there's a period or moment, at least minimally, where they start to use that gift selfishly. So what do you see Spider-Man do? He sit down in his chair and instead of getting up and going to grab the cup off the table, he's going to shoot the web over there, right, and bring it to himself. Instead of walking normally to school, he going to say, I ain't got to walk like a normal person. I'm going to just climb the thing and just swing to school, right? I'm going to just use the gift in a sense, right? Whatever you want to call it, right? Superpower, right? I'm going to use it selfishly, right? But think about Jesus. For 18 years, Jesus didn't blink his eyes and then just show up in the carpenter shop. He didn't just speak a word and then the chair got made, right? He didn't do that. Jesus actually walked to the carpenter shop every day, just like anybody else would have to walk to the carpenter shop. He didn't skip any steps. He went, and if he had to cut down a tree, he went and cut down a tree. He didn't just command the tree to fall down. He had to take that sand, that paper, whatever they was using, the sand to get those rough edges off. He didn't just say, chair be smooth. No. He took the paper and he smoothed and he put in physical labor and work for 18 years. He was willing to do it for 18 years until the right time for him to move on to the next, right? And so for all of us, the question is, with all of the different things, all of the things we want to do, because God has given you a gift, a talent. God is calling you to enact the business that's going to have impact on people, right? He's calling you to do something great. But whether you know what that thing is yet, whether you know what your purpose is, whether you know what that gift is, whether you understand, right, what God has placed in your hand yet, it doesn't matter, right? What matters is, how faithful are you in the thing right now? Like, are you skipping steps? You entered into this new career path, this new business, right? And instead of putting the groundwork in and saying, I'm going to make the calls every day that I need to do in order to connect with the people, in order to learn how to work this business, I don't want to do that. I'm going to just skip over this whole thing and get to this place and make this money and make this impact on these people in their lives, right? And get to this position. Jesus didn't even do that though. Jesus, I mean, I know, right? My wife laughing because you're right. Jesus ain't even do that. Jesus ain't even skip steps. And he could have just commanded the steps to be gone. You know what I'm saying? So how are we gonna do that, right? In our entrepreneurial pursuits? No, that's not how it works, right? That's not how it works. So we have to be willing, right, to put in the effort, the energy for 18 years. And guess what? Your 18 years could be 5. Your 18 years could be 40. It doesn't matter though. What matters is that you have to be faithful in that arena, in that area, until God is ready to move you on to that next area of life. Let me tell you, the thing that I realized is that people who had a lot of impact really, it's not like they was doing a lot of different stuff. When I think about Martin Luther, if anybody out here has read the book, The Great Controversy, great book. You need to check that book out. If you don't have it, reach out to me. I can get you a copy, right? But in that book, it talks about Martin Luther and what he did for the Reformation. And I was thinking about Martin Luther, I was realizing Martin Luther didn't really do a lot of stuff outside of Wittenberg like that. He really was faithful at preaching and writing in Wittenberg. But guess what? His impact literally covered the whole globe, okay? You know what I'm saying? Because he was faithful in what he was sent to do. He was faithful in that thing. You see what I'm saying? So I want us to remember that, right? That God has given us the scriptures. And what I want to continually remind us is that good business principles are Christian Bible principles. It's like they work hand in hand. There's literally no difference. Like it's the same thing. We can lift it and take it into our business practices because they work hand in hand. They're the same thing, right? So when you look at the life of Jesus, this is pre-30 Jesus, like I said before. We're talking about pre-30 Jesus. He teaches us lessons too, not just 30 plus Jesus. And we love Jesus at every age and in every period. But right now we're talking about pre-30 Jesus and what he did and how he was an example for us, not just in our regular everyday life, but also in our entrepreneurial pursuits. Jesus is an example. Are we willing to walk to the carpenter shop every single day? Not skip steps, right? Still build the chair every single day. I read a statement about Jesus in his life, in his early life, and it says he was just as faithful in his work as a carpenter as he was in his character in life, in his work in the ministry. See, we think that when I get to this certain point in my business, right, then I'm gonna be able to do this or be like this, right? If I get a certain amount of capital, right, I can do this and be like this. When I have a certain amount of backing, no. That's not how it works, right? The Lord says, he that is faithful in that which is least is faithful in that which is much, right? And so if you're not willing to put in the work right now, we have no clients, you're not gonna put in work, we got more clients. If you can't handle the little clients, how you gonna handle 10 if you can't handle 2? You see what I'm saying? How you gonna be able to do that? It don't make sense. It don't add up, right? So I hope that was a blessing. If that was a blessing, man, y'all let me know so that I don't want to think that I'm just out here just being blessed. It still was a blessing to me. I mean, even if it wasn't blessed to y'all, it's still blessing me, okay? But I think that was, that was a powerful lesson that the Lord taught me this week that I wanted to share with you guys, right? As you're on your entrepreneurial pursuits. And so again, man, this is something that I want to seek to continue to share what the Lord has poured upon me. I call it Tentmakers 101, right? Tentmakers 101. The tent maker is somebody, right, who's using their gift, their talent, their business, right, for the purpose of making an impact to glorify God, right? And so we're talking about biblical entrepreneurship, right? You know what I'm saying? Where Christian principles, right? Where we talk about Christian principles fueling our business practices. So I appreciate you guys for coming on, for sharing. I see Chef Chu, man, Chef Chu doing big things out there in Cali, man. Man, he knows, man. That's somebody y'all need to connect with if y'all talking about Christian entrepreneurship. That's somebody right there who understands, okay? He's doing big things out there in California. Y'all go check him out. Check his page out on Facebook, videos he put out as well. just sharing what's going out there in Oakland, California. I appreciate my wife for supporting and coming through. Tilla, thank you for stopping through. And everybody else I see out there, So if y'all have any questions, any thought process, anything y'all say, man, maybe you should talk about this in regards to business and Christianity. Just let me know, because I want to continue to do these things and just share and encourage everybody, right? Because if there's anybody that needs to grow their business, it needs to be people who are seeking to put God first and to glorify him, right? And that's in whatever industry that you're in, right? We want you to grow. We want you to make impact, right? We want you to share. We want you to build. That's the purpose. That's why God has placed us here on this earth. I see my boy Rashad out there. I see Lavi. What's going on? Luke, you know what I'm saying? Doing big things. So again, thank you guys. And see y'all next time. God bless.